All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesdays Live. Mark Lambansky here. I am the host of the show. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We are, of course, in episode number 3. We are still in our infancy, but we are kicking some ass. We have been having some terrific viewership over the last couple of weeks just on the first 2 shows, and we couldn't be happier. And we are glad you're tuned in today. And we got a great show lined up for you today. We have some folks staying up late to be on the show from London, but I'll bring them in real soon. Let me give you a quick reminder that, as always, we are an interactive show. What that means is pretty simple. We want you to give us a tweet, give us a mention on Twitter using the @sign, that pretty little swirl, and ALLINDIE. All Indie. If you mention us on Twitter, we will give you a shout out right here on the air, and we'll even show your tweet right on the bottom of our screen here so everybody can see it. So make sure you put a good picture on your Twitter profile. You don't want to be embarrassed, right? No nudities, please, though, and so yes, and by the way, you can feel free to tweet us using the All Indie, our username as well, if you want to ask our guests any questions. Let me remind you too, this is a live show, so when I fumble over my words, I cannot edit it out. So I apologize in advance because I'm drunk on iced tea. What can I tell you? Let me go ahead and introduce to you my partner and co-host for the evening. His little town of Paris, Illinois had a population explosion. Last week it was 13. This week it's 20 because a dog had a litter of 7 puppies. Population 20, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the proud data, Rich Wildman. Hey, Rich.
Mark, you know what? I'm going to send you, out of the kindness of my heart, 3 of those puppies for your very own, because I know your kids would love them.
Oh, my kids would absolutely. What kind of puppies are they, Rich?
They're Great Danes.
Oh, they would be the biggest type of dog around, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes. You've been to my house. You know how a Great Dane would fit in here, barely in this office.
Exactly why I'm going to send them to you as well. But,
thanks. 3 of them.
Hey, awesome. I'm thinking about you.
I'm going to call them Larry, Curly, and Mo.
They'll answer to anything as long as you feed them.
Absolutely. Or I can name them after the old MSI crew, Rich, Ian, and Tom.
You could, but Andrea would feel left out, as just saying.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Go ahead.
Did you know that today, this date in 1975, you know what happened then? This date, 1975, in Westwood, California, is where it took place.
What?
You have no idea. They released the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, jeez. I've never been a big fan.
It happened. Sorry. It happened. It was a flop at the box office initially, but it got better.
It did. My wife is a big fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I am too. Yeah, huge.
Do you get dressed up? Do you wear the garb? All you need to do is take the headset off.
I just asked your wife to send me your mullet from 15 years ago, and I put that on, and I'm instantly riffraff.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, I'm going to cut you right there because I want to give a quick shout out to Tom Chianti. I don't know if he's watching or anything, but I know that he recently had some surgery. I know he's doing very well in recovery, and I've seen a couple of his posts on Facebook. So want to send our best.
He got himself a new ticker.
A new ticker. It's about time. You killed the old one, didn't you?
No, he actually had been working on this a long time, but finally got a heart transplant, and kudos to him. Great job to the doctors and nurses taking care of him. And I know Alana his partner in crime is taking real good care of him. And so
sure.
kudos to her for putting up with him.
Yeah. Hey, a shout out to Ghostly Beer, who says, wishing you all a great show.
Duh. There's a duh on the end of it.
What did I say?
Ghostly Beer.
Hey, Ghostly Beer, you know, you can see what's on my mind.
Yeah, more of your supposed tea, huh?
Yeah. Well, and that's quite appropriate, by the way. The tea. We have Londoners on the show tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce them now.
Don't introduce them yet. Do not do it yet. Make everybody wait. Anticipation. Build it up. I want to take some time and talk about our great sponsor, the Indie Music Bus.
Oh,
you know, Walter and the kids. You know how much they work for us, right? Nope. You got to help me out here. I got to tell you, Indie Music Bus, if you're a musician, regardless of whether you're rap, country, rock, it doesn't make any difference. You're trying to get ears on your music, eyes on your videos, and on your website. Who are you going to call? Call the Indie Music Bus. The guys over there can help you out. They do a great job. They put a little something together I want to show you right now, which explains it in words. You know, you got to read it. If you can't read, I'll explain it later. But read this, take a look at it, and then give them a shout out on Twitter at Indie Music Bus. I know they'll appreciate it and they'll help you.
Cool. I love
I'm telling you, Indie Music Bus is where it's at. If you're an artist out there, get in touch with them. I know they'll be able to help you because I've seen what they've done for everybody else who's riding the bus, and it's good stuff.
Yes, and we mean that in the cleanest possible way, riding the bus.
Exactly. Exactly. I actually wrote a song about riding a train, which is not good, clean stuff. So, don't, you know.
You? No,
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Not Rich Wildman.
I did.
Oh, I'm going to have to hear that. All right. Maybe you can give it to the guys tonight who are on the show. They can rap it for you.
You never know. I probably could use a little bit in there.
Yeah, maybe. Let me go ahead and introduce our guests for tonight, folks. They are from a couple of dudes from London, England. We've had a little chat before the show. A couple of nice guys, very well spoken, and I think you guys are going to have a great time with them tonight. They are Sammy and Donovan Appa, and otherwise known as The Family. Why? Well, hey, they're brothers. Guys, welcome to the show. London, England is in the house. What's going on? What's up?
No, you're right.
All right. So first of all, I know I don't want to start any feuds here or anything, but which one of you guys is in charge?
I am.
The quiet one's in charge. All right. And Don's not even arguing with you.
He does.
No need.
Yeah, because you deep down inside, you know who's really in charge, right? All right. So you guys are rap artists in London. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think, I'm thinking back to the days when I did the radio show. And I don't remember if we've ever had rap artists on the show before. I think you guys are probably the first. And we've had hip hop, and not rhythm and blues. What am I thinking of? The other genre. Anyway, so but you guys are the first rap artists, and we're glad to have you here. And we accepted you on the show because we've listened to your stuff, and we love what you guys are doing and what you have to say, and I think our audience is going to love it as well. So let's get started first of all by asking, do you guys, is this a collaboration in words, in the wordsmithing, or one of you do the wording, or how does this all work for you guys?
Well, we both do.
How does this all work?
We both do. So, one of us does the wordsmithing, and the other one does the wording.
Okay.
So,
All right. So
Do you want to say, or that? I don't know, Dom.
Hey, you're in charge, Sam.
I told you I don't need to say anything. You know how it goes.
All right. So yeah, we both write, so that's a good thing. Like we both do our separate verses and stuff like that, and then we kind of work on the choruses together, and then whatever comes out of that really comes out of that. But we both take time and work on individual pieces for our own verses, and then
your own verses within the same song, or do you work on different songs?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. It's like we're together in it, so we
And then what about the backing? The music backing.
So normally what happens with that is if I don't like it, we don't pick it. No, I'm taking
that works.
No, I mean, do you know what? Me and Sam have a very specific ear. We can tell usually within the first, I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds of a track whether we're going to use it or not. And most of the time, if we say, like, if I like it, he will like it as well. So, normally we don't have any problems with that. And in terms of our verses, we just both kind of respect each other's craft. If I think that Sam hasn't done like the best that he can do, I think he can go better, like he can go harder, then I'll just say to him, Sam, like, rah, this isn't your best verse, like I think you can do something different. And the same with me, like we both kind of ask for each other's input. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. Now one of you was or actually is it both of you that did really well? You stood out in English in your schools when you went to school. Where both of you stood out there?
No, that's only one.
He's big smile on his face. That was me.
Yeah, no, like writing has been in my system for such a long time. Like maybe since I was maybe 11, 12. I didn't know what I had, but I knew that I had something. So when it's just been years and years of cultivating it, and I'm a shy person anyway. So it took a long time for me to get over like my shyness and show people like my writing ability and stuff like that. And I've just been working with that kind of ever since. So it's really I feel like a nice time to let everybody see what we've been working.
How do you feel on stage now? When you get up on stage to perform, how do you feel?
I'm always nervous as hell. Always.
But you get up there and kick ass, right?
Yeah, man.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, Rich. I know that
sir.
Usually by now you've interrupted me 3 or 4 times to say I have a question. So I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I've learned during the past 2 shows just to let you go because eventually you'll wear yourself out. Now,
yeah.
Mark had alluded to the fact that you guys are from the UK, and I don't know if our listeners know exactly where you're from, but you call it the 7. We asked you before the show, why do you call where you're from Thornton Heath? Is it Croydon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you call it the 7, and it was really interesting why you call it the 7. It has to do with what the postcode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about where you grew up? How does that influence the music you guys write?
Do you want to start, Sam?
Yeah, I mean it's really weird because like our town's undergone like a mad transformation in the last maybe 10, 15 years. Like when we were growing up, it was like I don't know, it was very different from what it is now. But we've lived with the change, and then we've kind of seen it like, change into something different. And I think that being present in both kind of worlds has given us a unique take on what happens there. Like certain people have only grown up in a certain time period there. So I think that like our perspective on what's happening, what has happened, makes our music a little bit different from not only like the US market, but also a lot of things that happen in the UK market as well, because it's like a melting pot of loads of different cultures, faiths, and people. Because often when you go to a town, there's like a cohesive theme, or like there's a cohesive culture. But in Croydon, it's not really like that. We've got like a really multicultural area, and I think that comes through in our music, in the way we speak, and it's a cool town to be part of.
Is that area? Is it? Are there a lot of music venues that you guys perform at in that area, or you perform all over the UK? How's
no, not really. I mean, no, not really. I mean, to be honest, I think that music venues are kind of sparse, where we are. But one of the things that there's a lot of rappers, there's a lot of talent. I mean, with me kind of growing up, I knew that I grew up in the era of grime. So what we used to do is we used to like battle rap in the playground. Like that's what we used to do. So there's a lot of rappers, and I think there's a lot of talented musicians around here. But I think we've only just started really getting the main stage. I think now more than ever, the UK market is thriving actually. So yeah, I mean it's an interesting place to be. There are venues to perform, but usually they're all around London. But you know, I think within Thornton Heath, there's a few.
All right, well that's cool.
I actually was curious, how far is that town or city from London?
Nah, it's not far. It's like half an hour to get into central London.
Oh, that's not so bad. Yeah, so you're not like out in the country or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
We're actually quite central.
You're what now?
We're actually quite central to to the center of London. It doesn't take us long to get to most places.
Yeah, there's a lot of transport route around where we are, so it's like a lot of people don't even drive cars and that, take buses. Like we're one of the few towns in the UK that has a tram service, and there's just loads of ways to get around. Obviously, Uber was like the main thing for a lot of people.
Say, not Uber anymore, no.
Yeah, and now like TfL are screwing with us, so like they've got an appeal process, so we'll see how that goes. But like,
I'm sure they can't keep Uber away forever. I mean, we had a problem with Uber down here for a while, and they simply renegotiated how they were going to do business, and and they came back. So
yeah.
But I'll tell you what. You know what I found amazing? I know this is nothing to do with music whatsoever, this whole Uber conversation, but when I was in London, and every time we called for an Uber, I would say 8 out of 10 times they were driving a Prius. The Uber driver drove a Prius.
yeah, they do.
Unbelievable.
Because they don't pay.
I guess it makes sense.
We have this thing called like a congestion charge, and Priuses don't pay it because of their engine size. It's not so they don't pay it. So a lot.
I think you guys have. You guys probably have more Prius per capita there than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
Yes. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get to the first song of the evening? What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the song. You guys, one of you, and I'm assuming it's going to be Sammy, right, Don, is going to tell us a little bit about the song, what it's about, and how it came to be. So, guys, the first song we're going to play is No Days Off. I'm guessing this has to do with work. I don't know. But one of you guys tell us what the song is about.
All right, then.
Don't fight for, to get on here.
So the song really came about because, we lost our granddad a couple of years ago, and it really like lit a torch under us. Like we don't know when things are going to happen, and we don't know what tomorrow holds. And so you need to make the most of every day following your passion. and just working hard at perfecting that, and and make sacrifices for that, because you really don't know. And so that's what the song is about.
All right, cool. Well, let's let the audience out there take a listen. The song is No Days Off by The Family. And of course, you're listening to Tuesdays Live at tuesdayslive.com. Rich, take it away.
Just no, I'm working. Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. I want it all. Who's stopping me? Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. Just no, I'm working. Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. I want it all. Who's stopping me? Gotta get what I deserve. No days off.
I've never had a friend who can match the pen. I light up the set, don't match with them. Starve for weeks on end to record again. Don't be sad, it's the work of men. Me at raves, you must be mad. Got a brand new Benz out, oh my dad. And me and my broski were moving all wretched. We was turning up the app. They rap for Balenciagas, that's fine. I rap for them things invading my mind. I grind like Tony Hawk's in 99. Line for line like the wrist of a self-harmer. Go bars how I rep Ghana. My work's in the field like a great farmer. So the ends are going ham like I bought Palmer. When they tell me no man, I work harder. My mum's getting older, we can't slow down. Know that there's never a day with no sound. So if a sound boy thinks that we ain't on guard, then know he can get mowed down. So many invites got turned down as we put them final gems in our crown. I was working off Adele for my glory, word to my hometown.
Just no, I'm working. Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. I want it all. Who's stopping me? Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. Just no, I'm working. Gotta get what I deserve. No days off. I want it all. Who's stopping me? Gotta get what I deserve. No days off.
I really put in work round here, that's a headline. Lot of man left dead here, that's a dreadline. Finding it hard to sleep, fighting with bedtime. For now I go underground until I get mine. Trust that's a mine. You don't get flame cause you're light, and you don't get sauce from design. I see man looking like ketchup bursters. Harry had to lay man out like recliner, but back to the right. I seen pen break brothers every time I had to bring bars to the cypher. Heading to the top, if you're standing in my way, then I might take your head top off like I'm silent. Watch me get 100 bags cause that's my fault. Brothers with enough of a bond to make the sky fall. I know I got that golden eye, it makes me mindful. So make way I'm coming across, and that's Bible. Deal. I always had to work through the summer, and now I go to work in the rain. Said I don't mind working, God, if you promise me that it won't be the same old. I always had to work through the summer, and now I go to work in the rain. Said I don't mind working, God, if you promise me that it won't be the same old thing. The summer.
Coming up.
All right.
All right. That was No Days Off by The Family. Rich and I were, so busy having a chat offline that we forgot to pay attention to the time of the music here.
Hey, now, honestly, I've had 3 versions of this song in my hands. Now, I've got to ask the questions, guys, regarding the ending on this song. It does end rather abruptly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a fade to it, but man, it just comes to an end there at the.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Leaves an impression.
It does. It really does. And the first time I heard this, we had one that ended earlier than what everyone just heard. And I thought to myself, this can't be the end of it. And then we got a revised copy from you guys, and I'm like, that can't be the end of it either, is it? I was assured it was, and I told you while we were playing the song and listening to it that this song is kind of a mashup of rap, hip hop, and R&B. It's kind of all that squished together, and it works. I really enjoy that song.
No, thank you. I think it's indicative of the time, though. Like, I feel like there are less factions, especially now. Like, you used to have like a hard rock group, you used to have like a hard rap group, and they didn't really listen to anything else. But like now, people are growing up, and like guys are listening to everything, and more power to it. I think it helps the music.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it creates better musicians.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Go back upstairs.
All right. Thank you. Scratch my chin for me next time. Anyway, yeah. So I was going back to your bio, guys. I noticed that you both. I noticed that you both graduated university. I'm just curious, what degrees did you guys get? What were your majors?
Done.
All right, so I studied social worker, and that's what I actually do. Actually, I'm a social worker. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, nice.
And what do you do, Sam?
So I studied criminal justice. So, yeah.
And so you became a criminal? What? No.
So,
I'm just kidding.
But no, my mom would kill me. But no. So I mean, I don't really work within that criminal justice. I work in sexual health, which is always interesting.
They're related.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just you never know where life's gonna take you, do you? But I just ended up working there. I work with some amazing people, and I think that it's something that's not really discussed. Like it's cool to work at a place where it's something that's taboo, just given clarity, and it's kind of
yeah. Speaking of taboo, that the subject is much more taboo here in the States than it is in Europe. So it's interesting when you say it's taboo. I'm curious, at what level is your taboo in comparison to our taboo? So
now mine's way up there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We are. I don't know. Here in the States, we are just so holier than thou when it comes to that subject. I mean, in some areas, not always. There's a lot of people who just frankly don't give a fuck and they'll talk and say anything. So
yeah.
But, the music, we have a lot of hard rock bands that incorporate a lot of sex and foul language into their music, and people love it. But then again, there are those people who are like, oh my goodness, he said pussy.
Yeah, I think it's like that. It kind of divides opinion. You get it here as well. Like you've got people who are very blasé about what they do, who they do it with, so on and so forth. And then you've got people who they do it, but they just act like it's the worst thing in the world. So it's
how much for both of you guys, how much of your work life do you bring into your music?
None of it.
None of it.
No, I suppose.
I was going to say, I would imagine that Don, as a social worker, probably has to deal with a lot more drama. And I would imagine some of that might influence some of your writing. No.
Sometimes, I mean, it very rarely, to be honest. I mean, it does influence and impact. I mean, I've written a few songs where I kind of, I just reflected on my experiences because I work in a hospital. So one of the things that shocked me is kind of the life lessons you learn from like elderly people. So one of the things that came to light is that a lot of people regret the things that they've never done. And one of the things that I always wanted to do is know how it feels to be famous. And I don't know whether I'll regret that later on in life if it never happened, or I never know, how I'll feel if I never express myself through music. Because like Sam, I was actually like quite shy about music. I actually never really wanted to tell anybody that I did any music. And the reason for that is I'm a black guy living in South London, and black guys who live in South London typically rap. And I'm a black guy in South London who raps. So it's like, I remember I spoke to one of my colleagues and they were like, well, you're not Tiny Temper. And I was like, well, what does that have to do with anything? I was like, well, you didn't know Tiny Temper was Tiny Temper until he started rapping. So I was like, well, that's a stupid argument.
Right.
So, you know, like you get all these kind of stereotypes. And I was very, in my job, I'm quite well known. Like my work ethic is crazy. And I think because of that, I never really wanted to merge the two. Like I never wanted to tell anybody that I was a rapper, because it was like, oh, you're a black boy from South London. Of course you're a rapper. But I suppose the one thing that separated me is that I did actually finish college. Well, I finished college, I finished uni, and I got a degree. So, you know, there's always a distinct difference, I would say, between what you guys will call like drill rappers, and what we would call gram rappers. Not all gram rappers, because some of them, you know, did further education, but some of them didn't. And I remember one of my colleagues saying to me, you know, you're the like first guy who's like, I don't know, what, like 26, who actually has a job. And when I asked them like what you do, it's not just, oh, I do music. And you're like, oh, well, how much do you make off of music? Well, I don't really make anything, you know. So she was like, you know, you already break the mold. And, you know, that's no disrespect to anybody who, you know, has had to grind their whole life. Do you get what I'm saying? And, you know, never went down the education route. It's just to say that, you know, actually, one of the things that I wanted to prove as a rapper is that you can go into a mainstream job, do a 9 to 5, and still become a rapper. Like, you don't have to have gone through like the craziest times of being shot, like almost being stabbed, and, you know, not having full-time employment and then become a rapper. So I always wanted to show people that there's multiple ways to be a musician, and just because you didn't do it that way, that doesn't make you a pop artist. You can still be a rapper. So, you know, interesting debates.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you guys, I think you guys are unique based on what I've heard so far, and you want to be unique. And when someone says to me, you know, someone says to you, you're not this person or that person, you should be, you're damn right I'm not. I am. Yeah. We're the family, and we do our own style, and we do our own. We are our own music. You know, kudos, and you guys. I really, you know, kudos to you guys for the jobs that you do, and I'm talking about your you know, employment. Great stuff, and it's very interesting listening to you guys talk about it. So, hey, quick shout out to Walt from Indie Music Bus, who gave us a retweet on Twitter. So, hey, Walt, if you're listening out there, say hi. We'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, though, we are going to go ahead and play song number 2. We're running about 4 minutes behind, but that's no big deal. Cool. When we come back, Rich is going to take over the questioning because I've kind of drowned him out this whole time. And so right now we're going to play the next song, which is called Kings. And so tell us, one of you guys, tell us about this song.
Do you want me to do this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So Kings came about. We were just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say frustrated, but we was aware. We was aware of all the stuff that was going on around us, particularly how we try and break the mold with a lot of stuff. So when someone says, oh, we're this, we try and be something else. And when someone says, oh, you know, like rappers do this, then we try and do something else. And one of the things that became very apparent was how rap is so synonymous with money and jewels. And it was like, yeah, like you could buy money, like you could buy jewels and stuff with your money, and you could buy like fast cars, but actually you do have to have some sort of substance to you, and you know, that's what makes you different. So one of the things that we picked up on was like the attitude of kind of like the Western world, and how we wanted to deviate from that culture. Like, not to say that we would always be like anti this or anti that, but just to say we're people, and actually sometimes, you know, we can get caught up in the culture of money and finance, but actually sometimes we do, you know, throw everything down and say, actually, these are the things that we stand for as rappers and as musicians and as men. So, you know, that's where the song kind of came from.
That's very cool. All right, well, let's let the audience take a listen. The name of the song is Kings by The Family, right here on Tuesdays Live. Rich, take it away.
our chains, shone brighter than they ever did. Ever did. We jumped around in the rain, and we were in our element. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Left it for the win. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Back when we were kings.
They talk about their brands like it give them power. Here's my 50 cents when in the club. I was moving shower, I was moving ghost. Most of my dons thought I was moving sour. The beat knocks like Greg, we get lost in that truth for hours. Word to the name of our group, we love our mum and that. Rappers buying chains before they even saw their mum relax. Feels like rap is an extension of our black world, but we buying for fashion houses that's rarely casting black girls. My Gold Coast crown is tilted to the side. My rap career's important, but you know, so is pride. I joke, but I don't lie. Yo bro, give it a try. Even lying, I'm a stand-up guy. Yo, so get your money up, get your money up, and don't be in a rush to buy a bunch of stuff. Cause I look around and I see comedy, APs galore, but you don't own any property.
We took off our chains, shone brighter than they ever did. Ever did. We jumped around in the rain, and we were in our element. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Left it for the win. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Back when we were kings.
If I'm being honest, I plan to soar the skies like Horace Raw. I'm really about to sun these sun gods. I'm making profit to my brothers on the road, spending figures looking ice. He still don't spend enough to match the cost to raise Blue Ivy. To these brands, sons, you rich hard. Do you protect your foot? And Cara Print is Kente, the West chose to endorse. Because you thought that you was dripping, now they're dipping in your sauce. No remorse when they're drifting and they're dipping in that Porsche. We know that black sells from the lips down to the backside. And when you mix the black with the white, that's a trap guy. Versace rose, diamond bezel and that sky dweller. Mr. Do, I love the jewels, but we can buy better. Sammy said take off the chains so we fly. I just hope we buy the block before we die. A can blood, Fenty Rose, Rollie in the river. Sometimes you gotta leave the glitter, quadruple your figures.
We took off our chains, shone brighter than they ever did. Ever did. We jumped around in the rain, and we were in our element. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Left it for the win. Yeah, we were throwing rollies in the river, Versace in the bin. Back when we were kings.
All right, Kings by the Family here on Tuesdays Live. Reminder out there, give us a mention on Twitter at AllIndie, ALLINDIE. We'll give you a shout out right here on the air. We'll show your tweet on the screen. It'll cover Rich's face, so please send in lots of tweets. And like that one there. And speaking of Rich, why don't you take it for a few minutes?
I really got to ask a couple of questions that are of interest to me, because your music sounds like it's put together very well. And what I mean by that is it doesn't sound like it's been recorded in a bedroom or something like that. I'm assuming you guys are getting your recordings done in a studio at some location. Is that correct? Or are you guys just awesome producers in your own right and can make it sound this good in a bedroom?
No. You got to do a shout out now.
Yeah, man. So we work with like this guy called John Robinson, and I've kind of dubbed him Merlin because the dude's just a wizard with audio. And so he's got a studio called Cleek Studios, which is in Kilburn. And we met him through a mutual friend, songwriter called Christina. And for a long time we were searching like for a studio that kind of like had our vision. And then we knew, like the first session in, we just kind of knew with John, like he got our sound, what we were trying to do. And like, so we've been working with him for maybe the last year and a half. And we kind of religiously do like everything through him. It takes us like an hour and like 10 to get down there. And I remember being in the Uber, and the guy was like, you guys live quite far. Like, why do you travel down here? And we were just like, the quality, just what John's able to do, what he sees. It's worth the travel. So shout out to John Robinson, man.
So now your first time walking into the studio, I'm going to assume you guys had done some demos and recordings at home or someplace in the garage or wherever. And first time you went to the studio, what was the thing that struck you most when you walked in, when you got in the sound booth, whatever the case was?
What, like the first time ever, or the first time we got in with John?
The first time ever.
My voice sounded terrible, absolutely terrible. I remember I'd written these rhymes and I was like, this is gonna be epic. I rolled up into the studio, put the headphones on, and there was two things. So the first thing was I wasn't used to and I wasn't comfortable with my voice as a rapper. My voice has obviously gotten a lot deeper since then. And it was just like it doesn't matter what you say, like you spend like, I don't know, your first like 5 tracks trying to make your voice a little bit deeper. And then another thing that because I wasn't as confident because my voice was so high pitched, I found the studio really hot. It gets hot in there anyway, but it was really, really hot. And I was thinking to myself, shit, man, I've got to get these words. I'm not sounding right. How's it going to sound when it's played back? But, you get used to it and, you roll with the punches kind of thing.
Had you ever listened to your voice at length before in headphones to know how it sounded? Or was that one of the first times?
I had rapping's always like a cool thing. So like, I just expected it to be better than it sounds on a voice recorder. So you would like, I've heard myself like on recorders and been like, that sounds terrible. But like also for me, it was kind of like, all right, I'm in the studio, like people can do these amazing things kind of thing. Like, yo, make me sound better. Like, what's the deal? I'm paying you. Like, you're supposed to make me sound a little bit better. But I mean, they did make me sound better. It's not like they weren't doing their job. But it was just, I had a high pitched voice, like,
yeah.
What'd you do? Like, you're not going to move it decibels down and I'm going to sound terrible. Like, so,
how about you? Then he hit puberty. Yeah. Now, what about you, Sammy? What your first time in? What do you think? What struck you?
It was a very surreal feeling, I think, because you have this, like Don said, you have this idea that like you're gonna sound a certain way, or you're gonna be able to do something like that. I don't know how to explain it, but be capable of doing these mad wonders, and then you realize that it's like, oh, it's actually technique. Like there's a technique to being able to rap fast. There's a technique to breathe in, to make sure that you end on the right thing. Adding personality, and I think that's kind of one of the hardest things, because you want to get the right kind of texture. You want to get the right emotion when you deliver a line. You come to learn that words have character, like it just in the way you say them, your intonation, and the way your voice goes up and down, and how you can use that and manipulate that to invoke feeling in somebody. And so, like being coached in those things when I first stepped in the studio, that was really like an awakening moment for me, and I realized like this isn't, as much as people may disagree, but to me it's an art form. To become a recording artist and do it well, it takes time, practice, and it's an art form.
It's like anything else, It's what's the quickest way to get to what's that studio or what's that concert hall in New York?
Wembley
Come on.
Stadium.
No,
Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, it's like the old joke. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
So now that you guys have been doing this a while, has it gotten old hat, or are you still constantly learning new things, amazed at what happens, when you get in the studio? How is it now compared to then?
I think that you learn how to, like, when you learn something. So, for example, you could think to yourself, you know what? I'm a decent cook. Like, I know how to do this, da da da. And then you think maybe I'll, step into being a chef. And then somebody wants you to cut your onions a certain way. And then you learn, oh, actually, I don't know how to do that. And then, like, a pasta sauce that's normal for you to cook. There's so many different ingredients and flavors that you have to figure out. Oh, what kind of there's different kind of tomatoes, and this one makes a good sauce for meat. This one's better for vegetables, and you learn all of those things, and it becomes a lifelong process in terms of you being able to chase perfection. And so that's where we are. Like, we're trying to chase perfection right now, and through that, we're just getting better and better and better. I don't think it's always a different experience. Like, even though it's me and Don, who have always been me and Don, it's like a different version of ourselves every time we step in the booth.
That brings up another question, I guess. I'm sorry, Donovan, do you want to say? You wanted to add something?
I was just gonna add that for me as well, and it's probably for the same for Sam. We kind of just enjoy the process of making music. I think every time that we kind of step in the booth, it's always a bit different,
Yeah, I understand that. I agree with you. I think the whole process is always something, hopefully that all musicians learn something new every time they go in. I liked your analogy to finding out a new way to cut onions as an example. I think that's a perfect analogy for that. Now, have you guys, I know the tracks you use, the music you use is you either have somebody make it for you, get it from somebody who's made it, and work it in. Have you guys ever considered, putting together a band, to back you up, or you?
I mean, we have a live band. We have a group of friends who support us when we perform and stuff like that. But I mean,
that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, we're very specific, both me and Sam, in terms of our music and how we want it to sound and who we think is good enough and all the rest of it. So we've got one of my very good friends, shout out Fernando. Fernando is always our keys player. He's an amazing keys player, and I've worked with him I used to actually sing. I used to sing in a live band. I wasn't the greatest at it. I used to actually hide behind a lot of people, but I used to be their tenor singer. And that's how I met Fernando. And, since then, I've known Fernando since I was probably, maybe about like 10 or something like that, like really young. And we've just both kind of grown in music. And so, yeah, he's our live keys player. And then we have a few people. We've got Chris who does the drums for us. And also we pull in other people if we're using things like cajons.
Okay, so now maybe I was wrong then. Is the music we heard tonight, is that with the band, or how is that put together?
Oh, no. So we have two kind of different, we kind of adapt where, that's how me and Sam are. So like, for example, sometimes in the UK, you'll have someone who says, oh, we only want you to do an acoustic set. And so if we only need an acoustic set, we're probably going to head towards a live band.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you're covering all the bases.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer? Oh, I'm sorry, Martin. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. We got to get on to the next song. We're got about 10 minutes left in the show.
Oh,
so
my fault.
I know you're on a roll there. I know, but I hate interrupting you. But
we're gonna have to have these guys back on so I can finish asking questions.
I think
that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so the final song of the evening that we're playing is "By Blood," and that's not "buy" as in purchase. That's "buy" as in BY. And tell us a little bit about this song, if you please.
Sure. So this is just a song about family. Like this is actually a preview for like a single that we're working on. That's going to be dropping later on towards the end of the year. So, and this song, I think this song just perfectly encapsulates me and Don. Like, there's a part that says every day, I'm with my brothers like every day. And so it's like the strength of family and the bond that we have, and that it's very different from having like a best friend. Like I've got friends that I've known for over 10 years, but what me and Don have is just mad different. And unless you have a sibling, I don't think like you can't replicate it, And so this song is really about that.
Especially when both brothers rap.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's great that you guys are together like this. All right, folks, the name of the song is "By Blood" by The Family, right here on Tuesdays Live.
Mubs got beats.
The Family. Yeah. Sammy. My turn. Listen. We laughing hard at the others, trying to convince you, man, they're brothers. We all the same eyes, we got the same blood, and we bleed it both for our mother. Yeah, we were raised in the same way. We had jollof off the same plate. Yeah, we have no AA, but we after a payday. Hook off the hook like Dave Hay. Tampa couldn't keep us at bay. You can stand around spitting dumb 16s, no one makes it that way. Yeah, we raise up to get a pay up, so mum's mortgage gets paid up. I sit with my bro and we way up. Ay, we way up. They talking fam, but their fam starved. My fam godly like Asgard, cause we lead the way, man, we vanguards. And we in the search of that black card, and that black card, cause we black dog. Touch my bro and get smacked, dog. We out here and we in this. Me and my bros to the finish. Every day, this is the family every day. I'm with my brothers like every day. Yeah, every day. This is the family every day. I'm with my brothers like every day. Me and my bro from morning. This is the life we were born in.
Tell him.
Our cup runneth over, our enemies falling. By blood we were sworn in. It's been me and my bro from morning. This is the life we were born in. Cup runneth over, our enemies falling. By blood we were sworn in. No Cain and Abel.
Whole city like chained them. Walk around like we're slave men. Fine boys but won't pay them. Mommy say a prayer for us, amen. From 13 paying one touch, how you feel? Don't panic. Me and Sammy back to back, make it clap cause we seal. Marvelous. Said touch him, it's eye for an eye. My mindset is conquer or die, so we glorify cause it's by blood. My brother's my brody to eyes shut. My spirit will walk with him, rise up. Like hands in the air, know your time's up. And it's on our jeans that will find cut. Take them back to school, tell them line up. Cause this ain't the barbershop, this is the jungle, no sign up. They say that we're soft but we rhyme tough. We're positive, tell them to mine us. Cause we set the code and they honor it. My high level is a scholarship, and I can end up in the can for my brother that I put bottles with.
Every day, this is the family every day. I'm with my brothers like every day. Yeah, every day. This is the family every day. I'm with my brothers like every day. Me and my bro from morning. This is the life we were born in.
Tell him.
Our cup runneth over, our enemies falling. By blood we were sworn in. It's been me and my bro from morning. This is the life we were born in. Our cup runneth over, our enemies falling.
By blood we were sworn in. No Cain and Abel.
Mubs got beat.
All right, By Blood, by the Family, right here on Tuesdays Live. Guys, another great song. Thank you very much for letting us play that tonight.
Thank you.
Kick ass. All right. We were talking about rap off the air, and I was just picturing, Rich in all that gold, the gold necklaces and pants hanging down by his knees.
Parachute pants. That's all I got to say.
Oh, right. Yeah. Don't touch this. All right. We got the rapid fire questions. We're running out of time. We got about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to run about 3-4 rapid fire questions for each of you. Your goal really is just to answer the questions as quickly as you can without thinking too hard on them. They're not difficult questions, but you may be tempted to just go, what's the right answer to that? So, all right. So let's start with Don. All right, I'll do 3 for Don. How about that? All right, Don, if you could buy any type of food right now, what would it be?
Pizza.
Pizza. Yeah, I just had pizza for dinner tonight, man. All right. Okay, Don, if you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Ooh, animals. Shit.
That they do, yes.
A gorilla.
Ooh, why?
Because nobody can fuck with them, man. You just crush people. They're just badass.
All right, one more for you. If a movie was made about your life, what genre would it be, and who would play you?
The only person who could play me. Actually, there's 2 people, but one of them will be way too old by the time any movie comes out for me. So one would be Denzel Washington. I trust him to play me. And the only other person I'll trust to play me is Sam. Oh, actually, one more person, my younger brother Simon, because we're real close like that. So only family apart from Denzel Washington. And the genre would probably be, I don't know. It'd be more like a biopic, really. I don't know, yeah.
So do you think that Denzel Washington can rap?
I reckon. Well, to be fair, he would just be rapping whatever I wrote, so he would just have to study my songs. But I reckon he's diverse enough. He's kind of badass, so yeah.
You can pull it off.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, Sam. Who is your favorite cartoon character and why?
Oh Jesus. Probably Peter Griffin, because he's an idiot and he makes me laugh.
Okay. All right. What is the one thing that annoys you the most?
People who walk really slow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or drive really slow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Both of those.
What is your favorite word?
Pontificate.
Oh.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't even say that word. Okay. One last thing I'm going to ask you. What is your least favorite word?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Would you agree with that, Don?
Nah, I reckon he hates the word bay at the moment. He doesn't like it when people say bay. He's like, what the I told you. He's like, what the fuck is that?
I know. I don't get it either, to tell you the truth. My daughter says that now, and I'm like, what? She's only 11. I mean, yeah.
I hate that word.
Well.
Yeah, I knew.
All right, listen.
You hated it more.
We got to start wrapping things up here. It is actually 8:00. Rich, any final words before I ask you to say goodnight?
The only final word I have is that I think that did we lose Sammy?
The light.
Sammy.
Oh, the lights
back
went
light's
off.
gone in the light. Yeah.
I thought we lost you. I thought you turned his camera off.
Sammy, smile. I won't be able to see you.
Yeah, we had that happen on a different show I was on. We had the electricity in the whole building just go off. Everybody thought I was getting taken away by aliens. But the only thing I want to say is that it was a great pleasure to have you guys on here. Great music. I certainly hope we can have you guys back sometime so that I can finish asking questions.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be happy to facilitate.
That would be awesome.
Cool.
That would be
I hope
awesome.
you guys had a really good time.
We did. I'm really sorry, guys. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. Don't worry about it. At least it happened at the end of the show.
Yeah, I was about to say you
Exactly.
lost the rest of the show.
Yes. If you're just tuning in, that's Sam up there on the top right box. He's smiling. You can't see it, but he's smiling. All right. All right. That's going to do it for tonight, folks. We don't have a musical guest next week. We have a comedian. Yes, our very first comedian is coming on the show. I sure hope he's funny. His name is Robert Yeri.
You never know. He may actually make me belly laugh.
He might. He's a comedian. All right. It's the challenge. We'll see how good a comedian he is. His name is Robert Yeri. He's out of New York, not the city, but the state. And we're looking forward to having him. It's going to be an interesting show because there's not going to be music to play. It's going to be just him trying to make you all laugh. So make sure you tune in next week. Same time, same website, same station, whatever you want to say. Make sure you look us up on Twitter. Check out our website, tuesdayslive.com. Say goodnight, Rich.
Good night, Carol.
We're going to keep doing that? All right.
Yeah.
Folks, we will see you next week. Thanks again for tuning in, and thanks to the family for staying up late and joining us in London. You all have a great night. See ya.
Good evening, my fellow citizens.